Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Drew's Quick Fixes and Hacks. And today we're talking about remote controls and if they're not working. Of course, you can get a universal remote. Sometimes they don't work on as many features. This is an older TV. I am revamping it, guys. You guys saw a video a while back where I had replaced the light bulb. This is my Panasonic TV right here. It's a projection TV. It's huge, takes up the whole room, but it's like a piece of furniture. I like it. I'm nostalgic about it. So recently went on Amazon before they go extinct, and I bought a new bulb for it. It was $50 where they used to be $20. I also bought an insurance policy on the light bulb, and then called the insurance company that was on Amazon to make sure they would insure the bulb. So I know I'm going to get 3 more years out of this bulb for $50, which is decent. The insurance policy, I think, was $6 for 3 years. The bulb was $40 plus tax. Anyway, long story short, we're trying to get to use this TV again. The TV turns on, it works fine, but the remote is a little bit out of whack. The buttons are not all working and things like that. So the first thing you want to do when your remote's not working is pretty obvious. Put some new batteries in and make sure they are new, good batteries. These are kind of crappy Harbor Freight batteries. They do work really well in remotes. You can use a battery tester, but test those batteries because, sometimes certain buttons won't work with the batteries, etc., etc. So that's your first step right there. Got to have good batteries because, you could take the whole remote apart and realize, oh, it was just bad batteries. So a lot of times what can happen is batteries can actually corrode inside your remote. If you leave them in there too long, you open the remote and you'll see all sorts of fuzzy stuff in there, usually on the contacts here. That's not good. You want to clean that out. Take a Q-tip, take some baking soda. You can use WD-40. Okay, so that didn't necessarily happen here on this, but I've been having trouble with a lot of the buttons, on this remote. And there's a lot of buttons here. So what I wanted to show you guys, first thing off, okay, if you're having trouble cracking any remote open, you're going to want to look for hidden screws, okay? So you've got your obvious screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's a hidden screw right there. It's not really hidden, but it's harder to see, okay? And in addition to that, once I got that screw out, it was still having trouble pulling open. I mean, it was just stuck. It was like factory sealed kind of. So I very carefully, actually, I kind of went around the edge with a razor. They do this on a lot of phones. Went around on the edge, just sort of unsealed off there. You want to be careful not to cut yourself or anything. I just sort of unsealed the seal there. Double check to make sure there were no other screws. This screw was a little bit sticky, so I actually pushed down real hard, flipped the remote upside down, pushed up, and then it came out. So, but then this top still wasn't coming off. So what I did, again, I took this prying. This is for cars, guys. These are work. This is a panel puller. Kind of wedged it in there and slowly pulled it up. You don't want to push it because it can actually crack the plastic. So it did come out. I'm great, and I'm excited about that. Actually, you can see here where I got frustrated, and I did crack it a little bit right there. So, well, you can sort of see it right there. It didn't break, thank goodness. So, all right, so let's flip this over now. Now, these older, I don't know if the newer remotes are like this. What there are here are contacts. This has a ton of them. Look at this. This was the deluxe remote back in the day, guys. When this TV came out, I think in 2004, maybe 2005, it was the best of everything. It had picture-in-picture. It had a thing that you could hook your VCR up to. Oh, there it is. There, picture-in-picture VCR. You could freeze the screen on your TV. It would literally pause and rewind. This had a memory card reader. It still works. So you didn't even have to put a memory card from your photos into a computer. It was awesome. They were $3,000 to $4,000 when they came out. 2004 maybe, and maybe even a little earlier than that. I picked this up at Sam's Club in 2009, I think, for 2008 or 2009 for $900 with the TV stand. So I'm very nostalgic about this TV. I know you can get a new 60-inch TV for, for probably like $900 to $1,200. It's crazy. So I can get a flat screen on the wall. But this is nostalgic here, guys. This TV's almost an antique. It's almost 20 years old. So it is 20 years old. So okay, so you see these contacts here, guys. These are what do tend to go bad. Now my power button's been acting a little funny. I am wondering if you see right there, there's like little burn marks. I don't know that they're burn marks, but those are the copper relays on there. So when you're hitting the button, there's this cool little pad here. You see these little buttons, these all have little rubber things on the end. So when you push the button, it pops those in. This is actually just a pull away rubber thing that fits through there. See that comes out. So it's literally a separate part on there. Okay. So, but when you push any one of those buttons, the little rubber tab pops downward, and it causes a complete circuit on those. I'm not sure exactly how that works because these don't look like they have any metal contacts on them. Somehow it pushes all the metal contacts, all the rubber here together, and that's what completes that circuit, which signals for the remote to work. So if you have any kind of corrosion over these from batteries or whatever, or if it's gotten wet, you can usually see that there's rust or corrosion on these, but sometimes they just wear out over time. And like I said, that power button's been having some trouble in some of the other ones. I don't know if that's necessarily what's going on, but the remote is working. It's just certain buttons are not working all the way. So it could be anything from the contacts there. If you flip this, it can actually be how these are contacting here. Now, I'm going to show you here. This whole circuit board also comes out. Once you have all your screws out, just pops right out. Okay, and then you've got your other side here. There's a bunch of capacitors on here. 2005. Wow, technology, this is probably ancient technology here. I don't know. But anyway, if you look here, that is a capacitor. Okay, and that's a I don't, that's actually like a microchip. Like, I don't know what exactly that does with the TV, but it looks like it has something to do with the radio signal. That's the radio transmitter right there, or the infrared transmitter. Okay. So, and if any of these contacts are messed up, sometimes they need resoldering, things like that. So it can be difficult. I don't know. It's probably not worth paying to repair a lot of these, but you can inspect them. Sometimes if you see corrosion, you can clean it off. Use a little WD-40 on a Q-tip, maybe a little bit of baking soda, and clean that off. But like, for instance, like right there, those are fine. But if those were corroded, so this circuit board looks okay to me. I'm still trying to figure out, but I think it's these contacts that are having problems here, the on-off. And I'm really hoping by putting this back together that it's just going to be, there was maybe an issue with how these were pressing towards these buttons, because I don't see any real damage on any of these. But it's still, I just thought I'd show you guys, it's kind of cool. This is pretty standard for any remote. There's a circuit board, but getting the remote open is a big part. Okay, so again, I took off the back where the batteries were. There's a contact right in there that's hidden. And I still, even though the battery remote was off, or even though it was open, had to literally pry it open with a razor blade because it's just stuck together from the factory. So keep in mind, having a pry tool and being very gentle is a really important step if you're opening a remote that won't open. Okay, guys. Well, I just thought I'd show you. Hopefully I can get this sucker running. Thanks for watching. This is Drew with Drew's Quick Fixes and Hacks. And I'm going to put this back together and see if we can get it going. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Thanks.